He warmed his way into our hearts playing Raphael on the CW's award-winning series Jane the Virgin, but Justin Baldoni has many facets to him and more stories to tell even, and has been doing so as a filmmaker with movies like 5 Feet Apart and Clouds. And this morning, this incredible change maker is back for yet another family reunion. Please welcome back actor, director, producer, and now a first-time author, Mr. Justin Baldoni.
Oh my God, it's so good to see you.
Same here. Let me just say I did not add best man bun wearer to that list. It should be official.
You know, it's been a good 2 years now. I actually haven't cut my hair since the last episode of Jane the Virgin.
Looking good. It looks good on you, though. Everything looks good on you anyway.
Oh,
so let's talk
well,
about this new venture, because we're talking about how the last time you were here, we're talking about 5 Feet Apart upstairs in our social media center before craziness happened. And now here we are. You are an author. And let me just say, you're tackling masculinity, right? Which
yes.
I'm not surprised people are into, because it was the topic you talked about for your TED Talk, which was super, super successful. And like millions of people logged in to watch it like that one night. So talk to us about this topic about being man enough, or masculinity.
Man enough. Yeah. Well, it's crazy. I'm a published freaking author.
Yes,
right?
you are.
How did that happen? This has been a labor of love. It's been really intense. It's I call it a meditation on masculinity, and really what it is it's me taking stock and account of all the ways that I have been socialized to be a man in the world, and how that's also been destructive and hurtful, not just for me, but for the people I love in my life. And kind of takes us through the life of a boy. And I use myself as an example, and now as a man. And the whole idea is that we got to reestablish that connection between our head and our hearts, right? Bell Hook talks about the idea that every young boy has to engage in an act of soul murder over the course of his life, and engage in this psychic act of self-mutilation, where we're not allowed to cry, we're not allowed to feel, we're not allowed to be sensitive, compassionate, empathetic, all of these things that women are taught are okay to be. And what that does is it ends up hurting us. It makes us these robots. And I really believe we have to have a balance of all of these qualities, and really challenge the very system that's been put in place to make us less human and more robots, honestly. So it's called Undefining My Masculinity. The idea is to undefine it, not redefine it, to make room for anybody who identifies as a man to be and feel like a man. Because as your earlier guest says, we so often go through life feeling like we're not enough. And I believe we are.
Oh, yeah, we've always known you were enough, Justin Baldoni, just so you know.
I haven't known.
We never,
I'm still on that
we're just
journey.
letting you know. There was no question ever. If I type in enough, your picture pops up, just so you know. You have always been enough to us. And I love the idea of how you say that we're under construction. Like, I love when you said that you are under construction, and we all should feel like we're under construction, because we should always work on being better versions of ourselves, no matter what we're taught. Because as human beings, we do know, like, what is more human and what feels better to us. But I gotta go back to the very first time you were here on our show for Jane the Virgin. Your wife Emily was pregnant with your first child. I mentioned her earlier because she was supposed to come on and do weather, because she was like, oh, I want to do weather. Now you have 2 children. Is being a father and fatherhood changed you? Did it help change your views about being man enough?
Oh, so much. Look, being a parent is your heart existing outside of your body. So you are vulnerable to everything happening in the world, and it makes you really look at the world and ask if this is a good place, a safe place for your children. And if it's not, we have to, as parents, I believe that we should be trying to figure out how we can change it, how we can make a difference in the world. Growing up in the Baha'i faith, we've always been told that every human being has a gift, and it's our job to figure out how to be of service, to the world, how to go out in the world and look and see, oh, there's a problem, then I can solve it. But what it comes down to, being a parent for me, is teaching my children that they have to have that relationship between their head and their hearts. They have to be able to use their gifts to be of service. It's okay for my son, as an example, to feel emotional, to cry, to be sensitive, compassionate. And it's okay for my daughter to grow up to be a badass and to be strong and capable and resilient. And in some ways, it's undoing some of it's giving them a foundation and undoing some of the things that are going to be taught to them when they're out in the world. this is my chance to build a foundation for them.
And you have really built that foundation. You're using your powers to change the world, from your Wayfarer Foundation to the movies you do, not just in front of the camera, like 5 Feet Apart, and Clouds, which is currently on Disney+. So what can you tell those who haven't seen Clouds about it?
Clouds, I'm so proud of this film. It's the true story of Zach Sobiek, who was a friend of mine. I first told his story in a documentary almost 8 years ago now. And Zach passed away of a rare type of cancer called osteosarcoma. But before he did, he made a choice to live, to truly live and experience life. And he made music with his best friend, Sammy. And they released a song that, upon his death, hit #1 on iTunes. And the Friday we released this movie in October, that Sunday, Clouds hit #1 again. So Zach became one of the first artists ever after his death to hit #1 on iTunes twice without a record label. And all of that money was donated to osteosarcoma research. It's the month of May, so we're still raising money for Zach's fund, the Zach Sobiek Osteosarcoma Fund. It's an optimistic tearjerker. It'll leave you feeling happy and inspired.
I am glad you said tearjerker, because I was going to go there. But Justin Baldoni, only you can make us cry tears of joy, cry tears of sadness, cry all kinds of tears. But it's all for a good reason, and we love you for that. We cannot wait to see you again. But till then, or even
I feel so good this morning. Thank you. You just made.
Oh, stop.
I mean, like,
or even your next book, because I know this is a multi-book deal, Mr. Baldoni, just so you know. We know. But for now, his book, Man Enough, Undefining My Masculinity, is currently available in bookstores and online. And we over here, we'll be right back. Bye, Justin Baldoni. Say hi to Emily and the babies.